All right, I think we are live. Doing this through Twitter for the first time. I think we might be streaming here. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get this figured out. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on. Really odd with the YouTube thing. I need to test that out a little bit later. I think we are live right here. So pretty cool stuff. So check us out on Twitter. So we are. I think we are for the first time. I think we might be streaming here. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see how that goes here. So streaming live on Twitter here for the first time. So we are live on Twitter. So https twitter.html true bubblehead. So we've got that going there. I don't know if this will be recorded or not. This is the first time I'm really using the Periscope to try to go live here. Let me see. Let me check my stream and see how it's going. So it's really odd that YouTube hasn't been really compliant with this type of stuff. So anyway, I think there's the ability to chat in Twitter right here. Let's see how this goes. I'm not sure if I can see any chat. View on Periscope with hearts and chats. Hold on one second. I'm going to tune into the Periscope right here and see how that looks. Stuff. So if you guys click if you click the live stream, feel free to comment in here. It looks like there's folks here, so that's good. So we're gonna be doing it here through Twitter today. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. I'll still upload the video if I can get a recording on this one to go to YouTube. But I really appreciate everybody for tuning in here and being patient as we figure out what's going on with YouTube. I don't know what happened last night, but anyway, here we are. So I hope everybody had a great trading day today, and just here so that. And today we're going to be continuing our conversation on day trading RSI tricks with breakouts. Hey, what's going on, Mike? Good to see you. So thanks. Yeah, great. Thanks for using the chat. Sorry, this is the first time using this one. I do not know what's going on with YouTube there, so I'm going to have to figure that out sometime tomorrow with why it's not connecting. So you guys might see some stuff there. But anyway, so good stuff. All right, so today we're going to be continuing our conversation on day trading RSI tricks with breakouts. Before we get started, of course, everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. All right. Awesome. Good. All right, so let's take a look here. Let me copy over a couple of things here. Shirley sending a few in, and I know Alma sending a few in too. So let's get those on there. So we got that, and then Shirley sending a few in too. So let me try to get these in here as well. Hold on, guys. I think I'm allowed to comment on my own thing. Okay. Let me see if I can paste these in here. So we got that. Okay, cool. I might have to use maybe like Google or something like that as an interface or as a broadcaster, and then Shirley sent a few in right here too. So we got those. So good. All right, cool. So good stuff. So before we get started, as we said, everything's for educational purposes only, not investment advice. Today, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the SPX and see where we're left with in the market, and then we're going to take a look at the futures here this evening and see what we might be setting up into tomorrow. And then we'll go through the topic, and then we'll take questions and chart requests. So feel free to plug those into the chat there through the Periscope. So anyway, good stuff there. So let's get started. All right, so SPX, so pretty interesting stuff right here. So we have a bearish engulfing month in the works right now. So kind of the big thing that we're looking at here was this open gap on the monthly chart and the open gap on the weekly chart. Right? This is kind of a big deal. And of course, we've been entering into this cloud canyon right here, and really just kind of this has really started the volatility in the market, right? So we're starting to see this how this is kind of playing into effect, this type of gravity right here. So we actually filled this open gap on the weekly chart, but it's kind of interesting how we did it. We gapped down into it, pushed down, and kind of came back above it. So the real question is that it? Is that mission accomplished? Or are we gonna see some more downside on this thing? So let's take a look. Here's the daily chart. So with the daily chart, what we had here today is basically an extension of the trend box. And so what happened here was a so what happened here was a push down today, but then this lower shadow, kind of shows us that we're still in a corrective pattern. Now, it doesn't mean it's not a bearish corrective pattern. It just means that the full trend hasn't shifted yet on the market, right? So we're still seeing a lot of bearish activity. We're still seeing some downside movement. We're just not in right now we're in the trend box, so it's still a corrective period, right? So we've got that going on. So good stuff there. So nice bounce off of those the lows there today, as we basically kind of tried to work to fill this gap from the upside, but we still have an open gap right here. So let's say with the price action here intraday, it was interesting, right? So it was looking like, okay, here we go. We gapped down today pretty hard, and we gave a nice flush at the open. We had an inside 15. We broke down the 15 orb low, but we just couldn't break any lower than that, right? And then so we sort of had this corrective pattern right here, so this ABC move, and then we couldn't get any more downside there, but this really just kind of pushed over these levels right here, and then they basically here it got really, really slow. There was some low volume on the downside. If there's low volume on the downside, got to be careful, right? So it's if things are going to be a short, right, they're going to move, right? And so when we start to see this kind of low volume stuff down here, we got to be careful on the short side, or wait and see, because what they'll do is they'll squeeze out nervous bears really, really quickly, and that's exactly what happened, right? So they pushed up pretty good and got up to the 15 orb high on that one on the SPX. So these are the levels that we provided our members before each market open, and pretty cool that we had a long-term volumetric mid-level right here that actually held as support for a while. That's on your daily, yearly level right here. So big time volume area, and tested it twice, and then basically worked its way up after we cleared a couple of these areas. So cool stuff there. Let's take a look at the futures and see how they're behaving here this evening, and then we'll get through all the questions and chart requests once we're done with that. So what a squeeze today. So pretty impressive stuff. Not only do we have that volumetric over here, but we had a nice signal zone below. This is a support level as well from a while back, and you can see how that served as support today too. We kind of played a little bit of ping pong here between the signal zones until it pushed above there, and then get a big final squeeze into the close. So pretty interesting stuff. And right now we're just kind of drifting up a little bit right here. We had a kind of a tight triangle range right here into the open, and then we just kind of got out of there here tonight. So lots of levels to look at above. There was kind of a big drop area right here overnight, last night, and then we've got this signal zone above right here, kind of in that 33.10 level. So let's see what they have in store for tonight, and if they continue to work this one up, and maybe the corrective pattern is done. So good stuff. All right. So from here. Actually, you guys probably couldn't see the all the other stuff I was showing a little bit earlier. Oh, no, you should be able to. Okay, good. So good. So today we're going to be continuing our conversation on day trading RSI tricks with breakouts. So let's talk about that. So what do we mean by breakouts? So in this case, we're actually talking about RSI breakouts. So if we go to the SPY, one of the things that we can learn is actually pretty cool. If you look at the divergences that we talked about yesterday, if we go ahead and add the RSI back in here. Today there was actually kind of a cool divergence from overnight, right? So we had these lows right here, and then we had this higher low light here, right? You can see it right off of this channel right here, and that actually gave kind of a nice bounce here today. So we had this this bullish divergence before we got a nice pop here to the upside today, and then the RSI got into its range. Now, one of the cool things about the RSI is when you have it set to the 70-30 level. One of the neat things is that allows, this is actually, once you're below these levels, this is actually still bearish in here, right? It's not until you cross back over, right, or until you have these divergences where this could potentially become bullish or could potentially become a reversal, right? So what we look for are these kind of breakdown areas, right? And so sometimes we see that once we push down, right? So once we crack these areas right here like we did, unless there's a divergence, right, or at a key level, a lot of times when we see this, right, we can actually get a nice breakdown off of these levels. Like here is a good push down below the 30 level. So I know it's considered oversold, but just because it's oversold doesn't mean it can't stay oversold. So oftentimes in these areas, we actually look for key breakouts between here and here, and you can see that gave us a nice move down, even though we were in the oversold area. So again, and if it can stay over there for a long time, it can be very, very impressive. But a lot of times it does just kind of get to the point where it's just a quick reversal off of that. We don't see it hang out over those levels too often, but we do on the larger term time frames, right? So if you go to the daily chart, right, sometimes you can stay oversold for a while. So just recently right here, this is actually a good breakout on the RSI. So just because you get overbought in this case doesn't mean the market is ready to reverse until we can see some clarity on that. So right here, what we can see on the daily chart is once the RSI got overbought right here, this is actually a very bullish breakout, right? So we gapped up, we basically pushed over here, we gapped up here, and that gave us a nice move up on the daily chart here from about 342 all the way up to 358 until the market decided to reverse. So we'll talk about this a little more this week of why this reversal is a little bit too extended, right? So it actually got over the 80 level. That's kind of a clue right there, but we'll show you again later this week. So that's definitely something to look for, right? So just because we're overbought doesn't mean we can't stay overbought, right? So, the same thing happened here, right? So back in 2019, right? This is all the way from 12.13, right, to almost the end of the month, right? So we got a nice kind of breakout over, again, guys, remember this when we had like limited volatility, right? So we had a nice triangle breakout right here. We broke out through the RSI, and when we were overbought here, just because we're overbought doesn't mean that we're not going to see some continued upside. So it's definitely something to consider right there. Just because we get overbought and oversold doesn't mean that the move is over. And sometimes it can mean that we actually have a little bit more upside until a couple other things come to fruition. So anyway, good stuff there, guys. So really interesting here being on the Periscope through Twitter. So really appreciate everybody for checking it out. And hopefully we'll get this YouTube thing figured out too, going into tomorrow for tomorrow's session. So good. So at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, feel free to plug those in the chat window here in the Periscope. Mike, good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So we've got Apple. Let's take a look at Apple and see how that's looking here. It's a little bit more delayed than on YouTube, but okay stuff there. So let's take a look at Apple. So Apple's pretty interesting, right? So we pointed out here we have a macro trend line that we've already tested right here. So what that does is I'm going to get rid of the bump line right now, and what we've done is actually formed a trend box here below the macro trend line from the Corona crash lows. And what we got here is a nice bounce off of that today, off of the upper trend line, off of the cloud. The only thing that's a little bit weird about Apple is the declining volume, right? It was a big move up right here, but it doesn't feel like a lot of buying pressure. The lower volume kind of makes me think that it was a lot of shorts kind of getting squeezed out, and it was a big push at the end of the day too. So pretty interesting there. We're right below the 50-day moving average, so I'd like to see if we could push above that and get over the 8-day too on Apple. So pretty interesting stuff there. RH, now there's an interesting one. So RH might be working on an invisible flag pattern, right? So here's your invisible flagpole right here. And now it had an incredible move since earnings, but right now, right, it's kind of looking like a bull flag, right? So let's see how that holds. I like how we got over the 80 EMA on that one. Let's see if we can get some volume over these levels and see if we can take that flag up there on RH. And then GLD. How about GLD going down today with the market? That's crazy, but it rallied with the market too. So again, it was getting really, really nice here at the triangle. Real tight range, but this is why we don't like to swing gold unless it's like, we catch a huge dip on it. Just because it goes crazy like this. It's down with the market. It makes no sense, right? But then it comes back up with the market too. So we have to see, again, this is the key geometrical level to try to get above. I want to see it try to push above that with some volume to get some more upside on that one. So seems to be a little bit weird, acting a little bit weird around kind of this Fed inflation stuff. So we've got that going on. So good stuff. So Alma sent a few in through the YouTube, right? So we've got Now. Okay, so now looking pretty good. Software was strong today, guys. It was the strongest sector out there. So a lot of these cloud names, software type names, had some good strength here today. I like how we got and closed above the 460 level. This is a key area of prior resistance. We got about, the only thing I don't like is the volume on it, right? So kind of tricky on that. But let's see if we can get any follow through there. Silver, whoa, rough day today on silver. Just came out of that range. Members actually were short on this morning because they like how it broke out of the triangle and kind of pushed here into the cloud. So that was good. And then of course it was a big range today for silver. Over 2 points today, and then of course reversed and kind of came back into the range again. So we'll see how that goes. It's a little bit tricky there, of course, trading the precious metals. Shop. Decent, right? So it was really breaking down into the bear flag here. We talked about that coming out of the cloud, and now we're back into the cloud and over the 80 EMA on this one, but just be careful of the declining volume. So we saw a lot of bullish moves today, but not a lot of volume on it, right? So not a lot of conviction on these moves. So we have to be a little bit cautious going into tomorrow with these. So good stuff. Thank you, Amma. And then Shirley sent a few in via email. So again, everybody keep Shirley in your thoughts and prayers as she continues to get better all the time. So let's take a look. So we've got Roku. What a day today on Roku. Incredible stuff. Guys, this is a big breakout move. This is one we need to monitor for sure. So I love how it got above these levels right here. Now, we need to see how it holds these levels, right? This is one of those days, one of those ones where we could see an inside day in these levels over here tomorrow. But what we really want to do is see how it handles the high. highs, right? If it can really push above those tomorrow, or if it gives us a pause day above those for maybe a measured move up or like a doji sandwich up. So we're definitely going to be keeping that on the radar. Coop, again, another software company. A lot of the software names strong today, but again, the volume is just like, look, we had more volume on a doji day on Friday. Now, I know it was expiration day and it was quad witching day, so you get extra volume in there, but still pretty impressive volume, and a little less volume there today. If they really want to buy this one, I would like to have seen a little bit more volume on that one. But we'll see how that goes. And of course, W, Wayfair, the strange shady furniture company. Coming out of these levels pretty nice right here. Good volume on Friday, good follow through today. So let's see if we can get some more upside on that one. FSLY. Again, this is a good one. This is a strong one, guys, because if the stay-at-home names are good and the software names are good, Fastly, see, this one had increased volume right here. Fastly is kind of like the backbone to a lot of these companies, right? So good breakout candle today. I'm going to put that on the bullish radar and see how that goes. That was, I believe it was also an inside week or maybe a double inside. We'll take a look at that in a second here, but I'm going to put that on the bullish radar for tomorrow and see where we go from there. Yeah, week double inside week up, guys, on FSLY. Y'all mentioned it on the brought this one to my attention in the Twitter stream. So really nice find on that one, and a great double inside week up on that. Great breakout here out of these geometric lines here today. So great find on those. So good stuff there. And what else? And then CRWD, there was another one too. CRWD was good, and Etsy, I'm glad that's one of the next ones right there. So CRWD with a great candle today, just again declining volume, so a little bit tricky on that one. So let's see how that goes there. Let's take a look. What else? So we've got so the Cloud Canyon property. What's going on? Yeah. So the Cloud Canyon is basically. So the cloud is really important, right? So it's a cool tool to use because what it is, it takes moving averages and stretches them forward, and it lets you know what was important, but it also kind of gives you it's a little bit forward looking, right? So it shows that here this is really bullish going up here. So maybe in time, right, it'll be bullish again if we can get back to those levels, right? Because this was buyable here, so why not if we get to those levels, wouldn't it be buyable again? That's kind of the concept with that, right? So when you go back on the weekly chart, right, we have this big down move here on the Corona crash, right? And so the big down move on the Corona crash carried forward gives you this move. So it's like, hey, we were extended over here and we came down. Oh, well, we're kind of extended in a cyclical period. Maybe it'll come down as well. So it's really just a visual interpretation of where we had some down moves in a kind of a cyclical time period, right? So you can see kind of the distance between here and here, right, was about 30 weeks, right? 30 weekly bars, right? So 30 being a cool number, and so basically just kind of that forward movement on that one. It's really, so once we got to this area right here, things started to break down, right? Because it was it's reminiscent of when we broke down before. So it gives us a good visual right here, and it shows us that we could see some downside pressure right here, especially when things start to turn red, that we could see it. So I call it the Cloud Canyon because we had everything was looking great, and then it's like, uh-oh, what's going on here, right? So we might have a big dip potential. So it actually really did start where the volatility came out. And this is called Ichimoku, right, in Thinkorswim. So you can kind of see it up here. So the study is Ichimoku. I wish they just called it Cloud or Ichimoku Cloud, but they call it Ichimoku to make it really hard to find. But it's a great study, and we pretty much can use it on just about any time frame. So great study. And if you go to the YouTube, to the playlist on there, I've got a bunch of videos on the cloud. We've done a whole series on it before, and there's a good 3-minute video on there as well. So good stuff there. Good. And okay, yeah. So let's take a look at Etsy. So what's going on, Calgosmo? So let's take a look at Etsy. So Etsy with a real strong day today. What was interesting is the volume on Friday, right? So this is definitely some stand. 26 million shares traded on Friday on a doji, right? I know it was quad witching day and expiration day, but that's a lot of volume. So that kind of gave us a little bit of a clue that, hey, maybe this thing could be strong. Now, it was not strong intraday. It was tough, right? It was great at the open, but a nasty pullback, and then they finally squeezed it at the end of the day. So definitely keep an eye on this one and see if it gets any follow through. You could get over the 50-day moving average and try to get work its way to the top of the cloud. So I tried to get down below the cloud. I couldn't do it. So now let's see if we can get above it. So good stuff. Masnick, what's going on? Yeah, say Apple. So Apple, again, big day today, right? So it gapped down, and then it reclaimed the macro upward trend line from the Corona crash lows, right? So that's good. I just would rather have seen it do it with some volume, right? Because we haven't gotten over the 50-day, we haven't gone over the 8-day yet. So it's a little bit sketchy, right? We definitely want to see how that behaves going into tomorrow, but we might see some more upside on it if it stays to be strong. Kobe, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So we got Piton. Yeah, again, guys, great dip buy on Piton right here. This is our trade of the week idea from last week. Great volume, getting some nice follow through. It closed bullishly last week, and it got some great follow through here today. So nice push up, nice viable dip right here to the upside, and then then it kind of rode its way up again. Again, today with the over the weekend with the AstraZeneca news, right, that the failed vaccine going on over in the UK, and then the increased corona cases really got things kind of like a little bit sketchy, and kind of money flowing back into Zoom, Piton, a lot of these kind of stay-at-home names again, right? So the usual suspects, right? And of course the other ones, right, the casinos, right, like your LVS, these ones got slammed today, right? So your CCLs. Right, big down moves today. So they not happy about that type of news, right? So pretty interesting stuff there. So good. So KC, what's going on? Good to see you. FedEx. Yeah, so FedEx, great move after earnings, right? Great gap. And then big reversal off of that one. Now, it gave you a hammer right here at the 80 MA, so that one needs to hold. And then JD. Hang it in there, still below the 80 MA, right? Decent candle today. Again, Chinese names, I think they got hit a little bit this morning. A lot of things got hit this morning. But anyway, let's see if we can get above the 80 MA on that one, too. So kind of important stuff there. And then, yeah, Cal goes, well, yeah, so another look at FSLI. This is definitely going to be on the bullish radar going into tomorrow. Just love the breakout right here. Love the double inside week up. No open gap on this one. So let's see if that can get some follow through going into tomorrow. So good stuff there. LB, what's going on? Let's take a look. So you got Workhorse. Let's take a look at that one. So, so Workhorse looking kind of interesting here again, guys. So much sketchy stuff going on with these electric vehicle names. Who knows if Workhorse is even real? I mean, Nikola. There's so much stuff on that today. So it could be a hanging man type pattern right here, right? Kind of tagged its all-time highs and then left you with this red hammer candle, right? So a little bit sketchy on that one. It's down a little bit after hours. Of course, it doesn't help that Elon Musk came out and said, like, battery supplies are going to be low, right, and all that stuff. So that doesn't really help the electric vehicle industry altogether. So we'll see how that goes. But one good thing that could come out is a couple of the names that are supplying them, like the Panasonic and a couple other ones. Could be interesting ones to kind of look into as suppliers to these companies. So cool stuff. Lithium, things like that, LI stuff like that. In fact, let's take a look at lithium here after hours. Not really doing anything, but that's not lithium. Sorry. What's the lithium? Lith? Is that the one? No, that's not it. But anyway, research those names and kind of see if, with the suppliers of those lithium-ion batteries and things like that. So see how this goes. Again, Zoom, beautiful day today, right? So like I said, all these stay-at-home LAC, thank you, yeah. So all these stay-at-home names were really strong today, right? So Zoom got a nice pop off of the. I mean, it stinks that things are moving up, like when there's increased cases of corona, right? But we kind of got that going on right there, right? So LAC, yeah. So decent move off the gaps there, but yeah, these type of names right here, I think a couple of those. And then Vale, yeah, that's another one too. It's another possible one right there. Kind of a interesting company out of Brazil that could be a possible play with Tesla, a little bit of a cheaper play. But good stuff. So Zoom and property, yeah. So that's right. So we got those. So definitely check those out on YouTube on the YouTube channel. And I'm gonna try to see if I can download this video and upload it to YouTube. And I need to figure out what's going on, why I'm not able to broadcast to YouTube right now. It's really, really odd. So that's 2 days in a row. So I need to test that out tomorrow during the day. So if you guys see some weird updates during the day with some live streams, just kind of ignore it, that type of thing. So. Anyway, good stuff, guys. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in this evening and bearing with us as we do the live stream here through Twitter. I'm sure the quality. I'm not sure how the quality is, but I'll see if I can get this downloaded and put up on YouTube. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. I hope everybody has a wonderful evening. We're gonna get some rest tonight and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. And I hope everybody stays healthy out there. And remember your risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys soon.